Well, anyway, I have returned, is what I should be saying right now. We are trying to write out a set of to-dos for. Thank you, Brainless. Trying to write a set of to-dos for how we're refactoring this thing. I think what I want to do is copy methods from obstacle preview to obstacle. Dessert. After your pork and couscous, what's for dessert? And then once we've done that, once we've copied the methods, then we can update obstacle placement to instantiate obstacle directly instead of the preview. Caramel flavored protein pudding. Sure. Is that something you're making yourself, or is that like a pre-made, like a pudding cup or something? Caramel pudding. Store-bought. All right. Just like a cup. Yep. Yeah, that's it's very tempting, but I need less sugar, not more. Okay, so then we would update obstacle placement to directly instantiate the obstacle, and then we can remove obstacle preview. Sugar free. Oh, well, there you go. But it's sweet, so it has some kind of like artificial sweetener. You have sugar forbidden, sure. Yeah, I don't know. I think things could just be less sweet in general, whether it's sugar or not. Anyway, okay, so yeah, and we do need the Boolean to indicate placement mode in obstacle for the methods to make sense. Yeah, sucralose, sure. So we're going to have a Boolean that's going to be placement mode. Default is going to be true, which is going to be interesting. Let's start with false. That way I can implement these things, but nothing will break until we... Where are things going to break? Well, probably here. When we update obstacle placement to directly instantiate obstacle, then we'll have to change and set by default in obstacle. There we go. Okay. Of course, adding the Boolean to obstacle, very easy. It's just one line. Copy methods from obstacle preview to obstacle. So the methods in question are like this place, and probably not get mesh instance. Is this something? Oops. Are we calling it in here? What's calling this? Nothing? Nothing calls it. Really? Interesting. So wait. So you're saying that if I run the game right now, this still works? Yeah, that seems fine. Okay, great. So get bounds here returns placement bounds. How do we want to do this? I guess what we want to do is actually have these things as well. Oops. In here, but not obstacle type. We know what obstacle type is. Maybe not. Oh yeah, we have it right here. We have that already. Okay. So then I'm not going to remove anything from obstacle preview yet because that would break things, and I'm trying not to break things. I want to have like I want to have essentially two different things that both work, and then we switch between them. So in this method, create mesh from obstacle type, it's interesting because we don't need to do some of this work, but I'll copy things. Let's think about this. So get bounds. So that just returns placement bounds here. And this is just calling temp obstacle get AABB. But we don't need to do that. We don't need temp obstacle because we'll be in the obstacle. So we'll call just get AABB. So the only thing having placement bounds buys us is that it's caching. Right? It's going to calculate that, it's going to get that once. I don't know that that's significant enough to bother with. So anyway, what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy all of these methods. I'm going to get rid of placement bounds as a thing. We're going to paste these new methods. We're going to take get bounds, remove that. We're going to rename get AABB to get bounds. No. For that matter, I think what I'll do is I'm going to make this a method, get AABB. And then I'm going to change. We're going to do just like a minor internal refactor here where we. Yeah, I know there's some errors there. We'll fix in a second. So when we do get bounds of the preview, we're just going to get AABB. That way we're just using a consistent name. Okay, what are the errors here? So place has same name as previously declared function, right? So now real obstacle place navigation region was already a thing that existed in obstacle. So what we're going to do is we are going to merge these together. So when we call real obstacle place, what we really want to do is we would want to do all of this stuff. You have decided, and Whiskerwood won the vote by overwhelming majority. Now 10 FPS time. Very well, very well. Let's fix all the indentation of these things. Okay, so this logging needs to be moved up here. You did sleep 2 hours. Shouldn't be coding. Fair, fair. Ended up playing Power World last night until 6 a.m. your time. Wow. Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while since Power World for me. I haven't played it since I played it on stream. There's just too many games to play. Okay, so how is this going to work? How is placement supposed to work here? Like we don't need to instantiate the real one or copy things in. We don't need to do any of those things. We don't need to free ourselves. We don't need to save position. We do need to do something weird where we take ourselves and add us to our parent's parent. And then this is the thing that we've just copied in here, right? So we're going to implement the logic to get the create a nav obstacle. We're going to configure it in various ways. Do the things. Add our obstacle to the navigation region. And then at this point, we're no longer a... Here's a question. Do I actually need... Do I need that Boolean, right? So I don't know that we need extra state because we are going to have state, which is the being in this group, essentially. What is placement bounds? It's a thing that we store, although we would return, right? So that's not a thing anymore. So we don't need that in our new version. And temp obstacle is not a thing we should be creating because it's just self. So we don't need to free that. So we don't need to free the temporary obstacle either. We're just creating this placement preview node. For this to work, we need to hide we need to hide the existing meshes. So first of all, we don't need to create a temporary variable here. We're just going to call it mesh instances. We're going to say for mesh instance and mesh instances, we're going to say preview mesh. Yep. Something like that. And we're going to rename this method. Right? So this method name doesn't make any sense. This is going to be we don't even need... Yeah, I don't think this needs to be a method. This should just be in the constructor. Except that's going to break things. So, yeah, again, we're going to call this convert to placement preview. So we create our placement preview node. We add shallow copies of the mesh instances. The other thing that we need to do is we need to say mesh instance dot hide. Yep. Create a preview. Yeah, that we can log that. And then we need another function. It's going to be restore from placement preview. That frees the placement preview node, and we show all the existing mesh instances. Now, what did you say, Brainless? I added a Whiskerwood mod to see if I was able to see its content, and the mod is so say it lacks more love. Okay, it's a way of putting it. So you grabbed an existing mod from. Is there like a Steam Workshop or something? Interesting. It's what is there a specific language you have to use for mods for it? You said you were looking at Unreal Engine, so it's like, what is the modding language for that stuff? Looking at the comments, the author says he knows the UI is horrible but doesn't have time for it. Well, that's fair. So I don't know that we need a Boolean for keeping track of if we're in placement mode or not, because we are going to, like, we could, and then we could have a bunch of things of like, oh, if we're in placement mode, this shouldn't be allowed. If we are in placement mode, other things shouldn't be allowed. I don't know that that gets us anything when we're not like switching back and forth. Like the things start in placement mode and then they become real things and they don't go back. So I don't know that that buys anything for us to have that Boolean. Okay, so what's this complaining about? Could not parse global class. I think that's just an out of date error. There we go. Yep. So what have I done? I have copied the methods to the obstacle. I don't want to save that. So now this shouldn't break anything. Everything should still work. Let's see if that's true. I can place things, and then if I try to place something overlapping, it fails. Okay, and I can cancel. I can be out of scrap, all those things, so that seems to be fine. Brainless says, unsure, I saw in the Discord they were talking about blueprints, which I think is the Unreal Engine thing. Okay. I know very little about that. I got as far as downloading something, I think. I think it was Unreal Engine. I forget why. I forget why I was even looking at it, but yeah, anyway. Okay, so now we break things. Now we break things. So what I want to do is I want to update obstacle placement to directly use obstacle instead of using obstacle preview. So where I say to do, place obstacle type. We want to still have that. So obstacle here is obstacle type. So instead of, so in obstacle preview, we have in fact, is there not a scene in instantiate? Oh, right, because that happens in placement. Right. So, what we have to do here is we need to say preview is obstacle.scene.instantiate. Now the type of preview is now different. It's no longer an obstacle preview. It is a, whatever the class name of this thing is, entity placeable obstacle. What does that break? Nothing yet. Nothing yet. Okay, so preview.aab get AABB still will work. Creating preview by doing obstacle.scene.instantiate will be fine. Adding the child will be fine. Getting the global position is fine. Calling place on it should still work. Freeing it should still work. Set preview material. So that was a method we copied in that I don't think we Log warning if not in placement mode is probably just not going to be a thing that we're going to do. We're just going to... Actually, yeah, let's still do that. What we'll do, though, is we'll say if not... yeah, return, sure. Just like short circuit it, but we can log a warning or an error. Except it's not logger anymore, it's my logger. You said I might have to give that another try in the future. Sure. I assume you mean trying to get Unreal Engine working. Okay, so all of this stuff works on the placement preview node, so that should work fine. I guess move child self. Like, we need to remove ourselves from the obstacle placement node and move it to the parent. How does this work? So add child. Nodes can have any number of children, but every child must have a unique name. Child nodes are automatically deleted when the parent node is deleted. If param node already has a parent, this method will fail. Use remove child first to remove node from its current parent. Okay, so what I did was right. First, we remove the child from, well, from the parent. We can't remove ourselves from ourselves. We need to remove ourselves from our parents. And then we add ourselves to our grandparents. This is a way of describing what's going on here. And this is maybe a little bit brittle. Like, this assumes some things about the tree that might be false in other circumstances. So let's just not change the circumstances and it'll be fine, right? Is that all we need to do? In obstacle. Here you would navigate the logic. You would implement the logic to finalize placement. Okay, but it is. It's I think that comment is from when we were sketching out what we were gonna do, and we just like AI auto completed what the comment was. So what is the parent of the obstacle placement? Let's just say the right place. It's a lot of logging. Let's get rid of one of those. Okay, do we think this is going to work? Again, I don't want to save that. Obstacle preview. So we have some old logs. Still reference obstacle preview. Those need to be updated. Okay, and then stuff inside of obstacle preview is referring to that. And then obstacle preview. Right. So then we can remove this. And let me just preemptively reload the project. No errors in the console, just from the project starting. We'll play our test scenario. Well, that's not good. So yeah, you can see it's we can't place. And the thing that we are previewing is interesting. Okay. Warn, obstacle, set preview material call but not in placement mode. Right. If not, placement preview node. Okay. So what? How is this going to work? Let's do this. Let's relaunch the game. And we are going to open a preview, pause the game. We're going to go over to remote and we're going to look at what's going on with the node. So we have obstacle placement and we have our basic turret. So this is a node 3D. Oh, I see. Right. So one of the things we're doing right now is we're iterating over. Let's see. We have a method to convert to placement preview. And what this is supposed to be doing is it's supposed to be looking at mesh instances. Oh, that should be fine. It should find all the mesh instances. Because we have an array where we plugged in references to all the mesh instances that are in the like the chart or whatever. Hide prevents this node from being rendered, equivalent to setting visible to false. This is the opposite of show. Go figure. So why do we still see things? Let's look at logs. So lots of set preview material call but not in placement mode, which is interesting. So we can see the nodes there. So it should have a placement preview node set on it. Oh, did I didn't call this in the constructor. So we have to do that. We need to convert to placement preview as like the first thing that we do when the obstacle loads. So that's part of the problem. And we have an error on line 110. I can't double click that, huh? 110. Do we not have an obstacle type? We don't have an obstacle type. We really should. Right, this is something that I think maybe we were handling before that we're not handling now. Can we... do this, and then an obstacle placement. No, it can't. Can't do that. Okay. We'll just do this then. And get rid of that. To rename the symbol to obstacle type. That seems better. Okay, let's try again. Okay, so good. I think it's colliding with itself. Yeah. Yep. I think that is what is happening. So in the obstacle, when we are in placement preview, we also need to... Do I have a reference to the... There's a scene. Yes. So there is a... I just called it obstacle. Static body 3D. So we want to add a reference to that. There we go. So here, we want to disable it, and when we restore, we want to undisable it. Oh, that didn't work. An invalid assignment of property or key disabled with type value of type Boolean base object of type null instance. Okay, that doesn't exist. And that is interesting. Cylinder. Is it? Let's go look at the obstacle. So entities, obstacles, templates. Aha. Oh, it's just self. Right. The node is a static body 3D. Of course. What am I doing? So interesting. Static body. Right, so this is just disabled is true. Self.disable. Disabled is not a thing. What is disable mode? Defines the physics behavior in physics when... Okay, that's not what I want. I just want to be able to disable collision temporarily on this node. I mean, that's interesting. This extends static body 3D, right? So that there are... Oh, right. Add collision exception with is interesting. Adds a body to the list of bodies this body can't collide with. Right, but what I was thinking, let's get back to here. The thing I was thinking about was specifically was the mask. Or not the mask, but the, not the static body, but the collision shape. Right? But that is not something that's defined here. That's defined by the things that extend this. The collision object. Yeah. Now, I guess what I could do is I could remove the collision layers. Like if you look at one of these scenes where we have inherited obstacle, we provide a collision shaped 3D, and it can be enabled or disabled, but it has to exist. And I don't know if there's a way for us to get at that consistently. It's like when we look at the turret, it happens to be that they're called collision shaped 3D, but that has nothing to do with like we don't have to call it that. It just needs to be here as a child of static body 3D. So I guess ultimately the way to disable collision is just to turn off the layers. Yeah, we can do that. Keep on losing. It's been a while. I think the glue has failed on the little rubber feet of the Moonlander base. That's fine. Save collision layers, collision layer, disable collisions in preview mode. Yeah, no, it's fine. I mean, so a couple of things. So, this one's fine. I don't know if that... Yeah, there we go. The little orange plastic on this one is fine. But on this side, just through use, and I wouldn't consider it abuse, the plastic broke off. So, like, this sits... It's fine. It sits there, and it doesn't move, right? But if I just lift it, it just lifts, right? Because there's no longer the little clip to hold it in. The feet, I mean, I think in the very first couple of months, the little rubber feet came off, but I have some super glue. I have a lot of super glue, actually. So I super glued them back on, but I think the super glue gave way on this one. So I'll just put some more on there at some point. It's fine. It's not the end of the world. It's just a minor inconvenience. Okay, so in restoring from placement mode, we need to set the collision layer back to the saved collision layers. So that, I think, will be good. Yeah, and we can rotate. Now, the question is, if I go over here by zombie, Yeah, it's still harmable. It still has health. So I think we have to refrain from hooking up health until we restore from placement preview. I don't know if that will be sufficient. At least it won't get harmed. It still shows the health, which is different from before. Oh no, it can still. Okay, let me restart. I'm not sure if that is a thing that will be fixed if we just restart. So let's do that. Nope, it still can be harmed in this mode. Presumably because, okay. Okay, I think what we need to do, let's undo that change. I think our health component needs a new ability, and that ability is the ability to be disabled. Okay, if disabled, we do nothing. Yep, if disabled or dead, return. Yep, dead things can't take damage, so that's fair. I think it makes sense to have them be separate, logically. Update display. Okay, so I think health bar dot hidden or disabled. So I don't think that's actually a what is health bar here? It is this. It is a node. Visible. Visible might actually be the property. Does a node have visible? If true, this node can be visible. Okay. If dead or disabled, you can't die. It's not allowed. Okay, let's see. And then we need to go back to obstacle. So it's a lot of things that we now have to deal with because we're trying to make it so that instead of having two separate kinds of things, a preview and a real thing, we're making it do both. And now we have to account for that. So convert to placement preview. We say if health disabled true, and then if health disabled false. So let's see what that does. So I was hoping the health bar would just not be visible. Okay, so that did nothing. Nothing at all. Why? Oh, I know why. Because of the order that we're doing things here. So we don't have health yet. So we need to move convert to placement preview to be after this. Honestly, I'm really inclined to move the code from that method into the constructor, because now I don't think it makes sense otherwise. we have like logic between this and the other one that's interwoven and interdependent. Yeah, interdependent. Okay, so they're not taking damage even though they're there. All right, if I try to place, that fails. On obstacle line 149. So get parent, add child does not work. Cannot call method get parents on a null value. This is because we've removed the child from the parent. So, but the child is us. So we've removed our parent, so we can't get our parent. Var parent. No, it is get parent. Parent node. That sounded weird. We can't get our parent because we've already removed it. It's fine. Okay, so. Okay, we can place obstacles. They don't leave preview mode, unfortunately. For some reason. Because we don't call the function to remove all the preview stuff, probably. Right, so restore from placement preview needs to be called. Now you could argue then, okay, well we could also take this code and just like embed it inside of this. Excuse me. But I think, especially if we move this to be right after the constructor, I think this will make sense. Of like, the purpose of this is to unwind a bunch of stuff we're doing in the constructor. Okay, so if we restart. Also, I've noticed, I'm not sure why it's happening. I click the button, reload the played scene, and it just stops the game. It doesn't restart it. I'm not sure why that is, but I've only noticed that happening today, so maybe it's a thing that happened because of Godot 4.5. Okay, so, and then can we reclaim things? That still works. I think the thing I would like to do is I would like to figure out how to get the health preview stuff to disappear when we're in placement mode. Like, that was the thought, was that the health bar wouldn't appear if we're disabled. Oh, it does. That's right. Because we have the health bar, and then we have the label. So what we want to do is we want to say health label dot visible. Oh, hold on. Not dead or disabled. We want it to be visible if we're not dead or disabled. Yeah, why didn't the game restart when I... Okay, well, anyway. Okay, but that is on... Okay. If disabled is true, or dead is true, that this is true, and not true is false. So health bar shouldn't be visible, but not working. Hold on, let's do something here. If disabled, my locker. I don't actually care what that message said. I just want to see something in the logs. What are we looking for? We're looking for health. A message from health. It's not happening. Anything in the debugger? Lots of things. Nothing relevant though. Okay, so right, so I think all of these things will happen after ooh, let's do this. I know what to do. So we need to make a setter. How do we do that? I have an example somewhere. I think an obstacle placement. Colon and then get and set. Get set value update display. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so the benefit of this is that when we set the value of disabled, it calls update display. So we'll actually use this because I think this just doesn't get called during runtime, especially if the node is disabled, then it can't take damage, and the ready function gets called before we disable health. There. Now we just see the preview and we don't see a health bar or anything, and then when I place it, we also don't see a health bar. We really should though. Okay, an obstacle. If health disabled is false. Oh, no, set value, disabled equals value, update display. So if both are false, then this is true and health bar should be visible. Same thing here, health label should be visible. So why is that not working? It's getting close though. We've almost done this refactor. It's going to enable us to do the feature that was what we set out to do, right? Let's just add a log line and restart the game. And let's just make sure that that is getting called. Yeah, so we can see here, updated health display, hit points 100, max hit points 100, dead, false, disabled, true. It would be good if that log line would also include... Oh, well, it's break time. So I'm going to be back in like 3 minutes, and we'll continue debugging.